The Blues Fan Forum podcast is presented by Interstate 70 Sports Media Group. I-70 strives to bring you the best sports coverage in the tri-state area. Find them on Facebook or at interstate70sports.media.
This is Jordan Bennington, and you're listening to the Blues Fan Forum podcast.
Skating on the ice, under St. Louis city lights, where the Blues play with all their might. Jordan Cairo, fast on the attack, but defense falters, gotta cut him some slack. In Robert Thomas, we find our glory. His skills shine, the team's best story. St. Louis Blues, we wear the crest. In Jordan Bennington, we put our trust to the test. On the ice, we fight, and we must, for the city we love. In the blue, no we'll thrust.
Hello there, everybody, and welcome to episode 151 of the Blues Fan Forum podcast, your source for Blues news, views, and fan interviews, presented by Scooters Coffee. Blues fans can score amazing drinks like the signature Caramelicious, served hot, iced, or blended with world-class espresso, fruit smoothies, Scoot energy infusions, and so much more. That is amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Scooters Coffee. Scooters Coffee was in high demand on Sunday morning because it was 7 a.m. and we were attempting to watch hockey. It went fantastically for us. And also, in a very weird way, I don't know how I am 33 years old and I've never done this, but I've never had Bailey's in my coffee. And it was a game changer. It was so good. I know.
Game changer for good and bad.
I should be a better alcoholic. But man, Scooters Coffee with some Baileys, that was good stuff. We do have Dakota here. Dakota, how are you?
Good, and all I gotta say is USA, USA, and we'll get into it. I'm sure we'll cover what will go down as one of the best games in American history. What we saw on Sunday, but man, it's good to be back. It's going to be talking about Olympic hockey. It's going to be talking about Blues hockey because now we're back. We're back in action. We've taken a 2.5 weeks hiatus. We're back, but it's good. It's fun.
Yeah, watching the Olympics has been an awesome time. It's also been really nice to have hockey during the day and just putting it on in my classroom. But I'm looking forward to the NHL being back. Couple of thank yous, couple of things I need to shout out before we jump in. First off is thank you to Timeout Sports Bar and Grill in Troy, Illinois for hosting our USA versus Canada gold medal match watch party. It actually ended up being really cool. It was at 7 a.m., so I didn't really expect a lot of people to show up. We did have a couple people, and it was cool that I brought Scooters Coffee. Some people brought Casey's Pizza. Some people brought donuts. Excuse me, we had bagels, and it just kind of turned into a little breakfast buffet. Everyone was kind of like, yeah, take whatever you want. So small group, but good camaraderie there. We had a couple giveaways from Imprint Labs, so thank them for having the hats and they had a bottle, like a tumbler type thing that had St. Louis Blues on it. And then, so big thanks, Imprint Labs and Timeout Sports Bar and Grill. If you were not able to make it, which I understand, it was 7 a.m. I know a lot of people just enjoyed the game from their couch. We do have a watch party coming up on March 12th. That will be located in Collinsville, Illinois at Fridays South. The game is scheduled to start, I didn't write, is it at 7 or 6? I think it's at 6, and I'm going to be there at 5. Yeah. Game scheduled at 6. I'll be there at 5. I will have tickets to raffle off to a future Blues game. I'm really trying to figure out which jersey I want to raffle off. I have 5 different jerseys. If I'm really feeling frisky, I'll bring in the signed Sobotka jersey. but I really like that jersey. So I don't know if that's the one I want to give away. It might just be the Tarasenko jersey or the Ryan O'Reilly jersey, whatever it is. But there will be a jersey to raffle off. We also will have some more giveaways from Hughes Custom Design, plenty of stuff from Scooters, and then also some things from Imprint Labs. So you guys can come hang out with us on March 12th. You will at least have a good time with good food and good friends, but you might be walking away with some cool prizes as well. What else do I have to thank? Oh, I should probably shout out tomorrow is, I'm going to say #1 fan, Sam's birthday. So big shout out to Sam. Sam, thank you for everything you do as far as listening, watching, commenting. It's been a pleasure just getting to know you through this podcast. So thank you, Sam, and also happy birthday tomorrow.
Happy birthday, Sam.
Yeah. And then I think that was all my thank yous, all my looking forward to the futures. Happy to have Canadian Mike in the building. He says, I'm just here because I'm a glutton for punishment. I do have to shout out Mike. I did not do this on air. I wasn't sure if Mike was listening or not. But Mike sent me some pretty cool playing cards. So there was a former pitcher for the Toronto Blue Jays named Dave Steeb, who I have no relation to. I don't think. I've asked my parents and they told me that I'm not related to this guy in any way, but spelled the same. So appreciate Mike sending me that. He also sent me some St. Louis Blues cards of Robert Thomas, Jordan Kyrou, Buchnevich, and one of Jordan Binnington getting his, I think it was his, what's this?
100 record-setting win?
Yeah, his record-setting win for the Blues. Yeah. So some cool cards that Mike sent me that he said you could not buy in the United States. They were only ones that you could get in Canada. And then because Dakota is a massive Tage Thompson fan, we got a Tage Thompson card for Dakota.
We love that.
All right. Greg comments and says, if I lived closer, I would have been there 3.5 hours away, made it tough. I understand that, Greg. As much as I love this podcast and love all the hanging out that we do, I would also not drive 3.5 hours. That's just too far. All right. Let's get into what I realistically, and I think I said this after the Four Nations tournament, is that the USA-Canada matchups that we had in the Four Nations tournament was some of the greatest hockey that I've ever seen. But watching the game on Sunday with my Scooters Coffee and Bailey, again, I was watching this and I'm like, this really is the greatest hockey that I have ever seen. So Dakota, why don't you kind of go through and, there was one more thing I wanted to point out. We were supposed to have a guest this week and somehow either Facebook put either me in jail or put him in jail. And so we got out of touch somehow. And so I wasn't able to get a hold of him. So, if for some reason, Donnie, you're listening to this and comment or whatever, and we could still get you on if you wanted to still come on last minute. But if not, me and Dakota are just going to kind of go through this without you, and we'll get you scheduled for another one. So I'm sorry if I've been trying to contact you, Donnie. So if you're trying to contact me, I don't know. Facebook's being mean to us, I guess. All right. So Dakota, just thoughts, everything. Go ahead, take it over. Olympics.
I mean, as a whole, the Olympics, I think, as advertised, if not more. And I think what played into, and we'll get into Sunday's game. I'll kind of touch on Sunday's game at the very end. But I think as the Olympics as a whole, and I just want to touch on, and nobody's going to say this on this podcast, maybe you were, but before you did, USA Women's honestly was by far just like it was like the main course before hitting dessert. And dessert was Sunday's USA Canada men's hockey final. USA Women's went on an absolute tear, and that should be studied. The fact that the women's program did what they did to who they played should be studied for years to come. And that just shows how cool it is to be an Olympic athlete, 2, to be a woman in the sport, but 3, just a young kid around the United States, just seeing that these women are setting the stage for bigger things to come. So I'll get off that soapbox, but just as hockey as a whole, man, it was as advertised, if not more. It was so exciting. I felt like the round robin, the pool matchups, who was in each pool, it made sense. I think the biggest, I would say, upset was Slovakia. I think Sweden kind of like, I feel like they kind of left the Olympics with a bad taste in their mouth. I feel like they kind of I think they shot themselves in the foot a little bit. You missed a Russia team. You would love to see what they would have done in that kind of pool setting. But man, USA, just whoever they played, it didn't matter. You could just see they were outplaying Canada the same way. It was really exciting hockey to watch, and it sucks it was only for 2.5 weeks. But man, it really, really shows you that Canada and the United States, and we may have some other players from other countries in the NHL, but Canada and US are doing something special. And why not? Why wouldn't it be 46 years to the day that the Miracle on Ice happened? Why wouldn't it, right? Like, who writes a better script? I mean, Roger Goodell couldn't even write a better script. Like, it just, for me, just Sunday's game, what it encapsulates for just U.S. hockey as a whole, because all those kids that played for U.S. saw the Miracle on Ice, and they were like, man, that could be me one day. And bam, Jack Hughes puts it in, buries it. That was him. He was him. He was the moment. And man, it's just very, very exciting. So I'll stop rambling, but man, USA through and through. I know I said I was going to start rooting for Canada. Who am I? I bleed red, white, and blue. I wanted to see Jordan Binnington do what he needed to do and show for his country, and I think he did that and then some. He proved a lot of people wrong. He still has it. He may not be playing well for the St. Louis Blues, but that dude still knows how to stop the puck. But say what you want about Connor Hellebuyck, but that dude put USA on his back, and now we're gold medalists. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, the women going 7 games and only giving up 2 goals. Like, there are untouchable records out there, and that one might not be untouchable, but it's damn close. Like, it is very, very difficult. I don't know how you go through an Olympic tournament and only give up 2 goals, especially playing Canada twice. They played Canada twice and only gave up 1 goal to Canada. Like, that is a feat in itself, let alone you played 5 other games and only gave up 1 goal in those times. So yeah, 33 goals for, 2 against in 7 games.
They were playing a different game, and I don't understand. Like, I know the Olympics is good because it's best of best or best on best, but clearly USA was just the best. Like, I mean, nobody really can compete. I mean, the shots on goal. I don't know if you did this throughout the Olympics, but did you ever kind of like scroll and see how many shots on goal each team had? Like, what goals for, goals against? Like, did you kind of look at those statistics throughout the pool matchups? Because like USA, Canada, like they just were out shooting their opponents by half. Like, it was like 40-20 or 60-30 or 60-20. I'm like, this isn't even fair.
Yeah, I never looked at like the end game stats, but you can pay attention to it in the game. Like, if you show up to a I think it was USA Sweden, the semifinal for the women. You show up to that game, and 5 minutes in, it was 12 shots to 1. It's like, oh God, this is not going well for Sweden. And then the end story was it didn't. I think that game ended up like 6-0 or something. So like, it was, just pure domination for 60 minutes every game. And that is, I don't care if you're professional or not, that is hard to do against other professionals. Like, that is, it's so difficult.
Can I ask you a question? Going back to the men's, and it doesn't really matter who you're mentioning here, but was there anybody that stood out to you, Blues or not, in these Olympics where you're like, oh shit, like these guys, like, they're the real deal? Now, obviously, I know it's best on best. Everybody deserves to be here, but was there anybody that came through, whether it be another country or U.S., that you were like, holy shit, like this dude's like legit, like elite?
I think the biggest individual winner for the Olympics would be Slavkovsky, Juraj Slavkovsky for Slovakia. I think just because Slovakia didn't have any other major names. Like, he's the guy that is supposed to be it, but he's still young for for his team. I mean, I know they had Thomas Tatar and some other former NHL players on the team, and Dvorsky, obviously, who had a good tournament. But Slavkovsky came out and was like, I can be a big deal when I need to be a big deal. So if I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan, I'm so excited for how he did in this tournament. For the United States, I don't know. They were just such a deep team that it's a new person every night. Matthews did what he needed to do to captain it. Hellebuck did what he needed to do in net. The Kachuk brothers did what they needed to do in running people over. I thought kind of some underlying heroes for the USA is Dylan Larkin and Vincent Trocheck, and just winning faceoffs, like just dominating the dot and making sure that we always had the puck. And then in the back end, Quinn Hughes. So I saw a post on Facebook. Someone was like, are we just living in the world of Quinn Hughes? Like, he's just dominating in Minnesota, dominating at the at the Olympics. So a lot of those guys.
I was going to say, like, I think the biggest question going into this is who's a better offensive defenseman, Quinn Hughes or Cale Makar? And I think a lot of the Cale Makar homers were really put to bed pretty quick, because Quinn Hughes quite literally took the game, or took basically the Olympics and put it on his back. Like, that guy was an absolute horse. The amount of minutes that guy played in the last 2.5 weeks just shows you the determination and grit that dude has for being such a small defenseman in the NHL. You're always getting pushed around. You're always going to have to outwork the other guys along the boards. And he was outworking. I mean, look at the goal he scored against. Was that Sweden?
Was it the overtime game?
Yeah, overtime when
he was supposed to go off, and he's like, no.
He's waving everybody off, putting the team on his shoulders, and just absolutely rips one side post and in. I mean, that just, to me, that solidifies how good you are as a player when you have the wherewithal to be like, I got enough gas in the tank to put this game away. And like, he really did. If you're a Quinn Hughes hater, like this, I don't know how you can be after this Olympics, honestly.
Yeah. Roger brings up a good point here. He says Quinn Hughes doesn't have a McKinnon to help him out. He's lucky to have a Kaprizov now, but he didn't really have that in Vancouver. He had a Brock Besser and a Elias Peterson. That ain't no McKinnon. Those two together aren't even a McKinnon. So
sure.
I thought a pretty interesting thing for the game on Sunday was when, and I didn't get the guy's name, but whoever the announcer was in between the benches kind of went through and was talking about his views from the game, and was just like, guys, this is better than a Stanley Cup final, because it is Stanley Cup final pace, but every single one of these guys are number one or number two on their team. It's like, even when you get to the Stanley Cup final, you have third and fourth liners. Like, you have guys that are going to go play somewhere else and be a third line player. Like, there's people on there that don't make these Olympics. So it's like, just every single person being a one player or a two player on the ice, and just all of them being so overly skilled, which is, I think, makes it even crazier that realistically, for a majority of that game at 5-on-5, Canada dominated. Like, they made the USA look a little silly. Everybody on the USA except Connor Hellebuck, luckily.
Yeah. I'm glad you mentioned Brian Boucher, because Brian Boucher was probably, I think, kind of giving us like a bird's eye view of what the benches look like. Obviously, like, your fans are going to drown out a lot of the noise around the arena, but like Brian Boucher was kind of like, trying to hear some of the chirps. He said for the first 15 minutes of the game, USA and Canada were silent. There wasn't a lot of shit talking, as you thought there would be, because coming out of Four Nations like that, it was basically like like WWE fans, like basically a Hell in a Cell match. Like, it was a gauntlet. Like, it didn't matter what was happening. I'm sure like there would be a bench clearing brawl at the Olympics if there was allowed one. But Boucher was kind of talking about the communication between the benches, and then just like how chippy it was down there, but understanding that it was the next guy up. Like, USA was getting outworked for 2/3 of that game. I would say like the last 20 minutes from the second to the third period, we were getting outworked. Now, I will say there was a little bit of a momentum switch because we had that 4-minute power play to end the third period, and USA really should have capitalized on that. I think a lot of us fans were like, we had a pit in our stomach. We kind of got like, a flashback to like how last season ended for the St. Louis Blues. Like, there's no way we didn't hit a goal on a 4-minute power play, and then Canada has an opportunity. We're like, oh shit, this is here how it goes. But Booch did a really nice job of kind of like letting us in to a lot of the BS that was going on the benches. And I got a question for you. I want you to answer this as truthfully as you can. How do you think the officiating went in these Olympics, and then obviously in the gold medal game? How do you think that played into just the goals, the playing style, and just overall, like, what did you think about the Olympics with the officiating?
The gold medal match, I for sure feel like they let some things go. They were like, we're going to just let this play out at 5v5. Maybe just in the back of their head, they're like, you know what? Canada's power play is just too good, so we just can't give them power plays. But there was a couple things, and I would say on both ends, USA and Canada, that's like, man, that he got tied up for sure. Like that's a hook, or that's a slash, or whatever it is. And I think even the announcer said it a couple of times, but it was like, man, they're really just letting these teams play. The comment that we kept having at timeout while we were watching it was, did you notice how many sticks were on the ice?
Yes.
Like, there were sticks left and right, whether they were broken from a shot or just dropped or whatever it is. There were sticks all over the ice, and just seeing that amount of sticks, I'm like, okay, one of these probably has to be a slash. Like, one of these probably got broke due to a slash for some reason. But yeah, they I felt like the gold medal match, they let some things go. Who was it? Someone for the United States had a breakaway, and definitely, like, looking back at the replay, got a little slash in the hands, which is what you expect. And they didn't call anything. It might have been McDavid's breakaway that he had, but there was definitely a breakaway somewhere where there was like a slash on the hands, and they didn't call it. So I think they let them play. And I think they gave a good amount of no calls, as well as calls that needed to be happened. So we had an appropriate amount of power plays, but really got to see the game happen at 5-on-5.
No, I agree. And the only thing I have to complain about that whole Olympics was the ice conditions. You could tell that they kind of threw some things together with that arena. It's like, these are the best skaters in the world. And, there were some injuries that came out of these Olympics, and for those teams, that sucks. But you don't want to risk a guy like a Connor McDavid or a guy like a Sidney Crosby. He happened to be hurt. Getting hurt on shitty ice. These guys can probably walk on ice better than most people can skate. And they do this this is their livelihood. So you would hate to kind of like see them kind of slap some stuff together for, an Olympic rink, and have that, be the reason why somebody gets hurt. I saw a lot of guys falling. It didn't seem like they were like getting clean edges. I'm curious what everybody else kind of thought of the ice conditions, but knowing what we knew about the arena and how it was like quickly came together, you could see that the ice was kind of fading away.
Mm-hmm. Did you notice the change on the boards that they had to make mid-tournament?
Oh, is that because they lost the puck?
Yeah, so there was at the I forgot which game it was, but they just made it. They joked. They made it look like they were going to dump the puck in and purposely shot it on net. And the goalie got didn't see it, had no idea where it was, and it went in. So they scored from the red line there. But there was a really good camera angle of looking at it from like behind the goalie, like over the goalie's shoulder. And sure as shit, right at center ice, the background was black. And so when that guy shot it and that puck never got above the boards, the background was black the whole time. And so
I think it was Germany and Jeremy Swayman. It was Jeremy Swayman in net, but I believe it was Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah, and so you see that, and then they changed it. The rest of the tournament, that black background that they had just at that area was like bright green.
Yeah.
Or
I
the
have a
little
question
kinda
for you before we
blue-green.
go deep. And I'm a goaltender guy, so this is going to be like my only goaltender question, I promise. Knowing what we know now about Connor Hellebuyck and knowing that we have elite level goaltenders for USA probably from here to come, but knowing that Connor Hellebuyck is your guy for USA, don't you feel a little bit bad about Jake Ottinger having the season that he's had and just not being able to get at any point in the Olympics any playing time? He didn't play a single game. He was the backup for the gold medal game and the semi and the quarter. But how do you feel knowing that Jeremy Swayman got ice time, played that like, okay, if we lose this game, it's not the end of the world game, and then knowing that Jake Ottinger never sniffed any ice time? I think apples to apples, Connor Hellebuyck, obviously 3-time Vezina, while, one time, MVP of the whole thing. What do you think about Jake Ottinger not even really getting a sniff of the ice, knowing that he probably, barring, something crazy happening to Connor Hellebuyck, is probably going to be your next choice in 4 years?
Mm-hmm. How old's Jeremy Swayman? I know Ottinger's pretty young. He's like in the 24-ish range.
Yeah, you have 31 in Connor Hellebuyck.
Yeah, I know he's up there.
Yeah, because I don't really think you're going to play him at 35. If you do, it'll be like he should be Martin Brodeur-esque. He should be in the Hall of Fame. But I don't know, Jeremy Swayman, I'm curious.
So I wonder if that was hey, this game means nothing. We're just going to give the minutes to Swayman just because it's the Olympics and we're fully expecting Ottinger to be our guy. I mean, if he's only 24, then he's got a chance to be the guy next Olympics and the guy after.
Jake Ottinger and Jeremy Swayman are the same year. Same years old.
Well, there
27.
goes that argument.
Yeah.
Then I got nothing. Maybe they had some sort of advanced stat that says Jamie Swayman's going to be better goaltender against. He's better on the low glove where that's where they like to shoot. I don't know. But if Ottinger is your backup every single game, why would he not get the game start that Hellebuyck didn't? Yeah.
Just curious. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. All right. Transitioning from Olympics to the NHL. My question for you, Dakota, is first off, why the hell has the NHL why have we not had this? Like, why over the last couple Olympics did the NHL say, no, we don't want our players in there? And I know the short answer is we don't want them to get injured or something related to money. But just seeing how important the women's hockey just dominating, but also just the men's hockey tournament as far as having the NHL players impacts the viewership and everything that happens with the Olympics, which then realistically should turn into more NHL revenue based off of people watching. So why has that not been a thing? And do you think it ever goes away?
That's tough to say because I mean, if you would have said to me, in 2014 that this is going to be it for 12 years, I would have told you, yeah, you're
crazy.
You're full of shit. Yeah. Because I mean, look at the talent and look at the rosters we had in 14, right? I mean, obviously St. Louis was at the helm because of TJ Sochi, but like if you would have told me like that would have been done away, I would have thought you were lying to me. But then it happened. But I do think I it's hard to kind of put yourself in that scenario of a GM or a president or even an owner of the team and be like, hey, I'm playing with house money. Like we're having these guys go and play 2.5 weeks under different, league staff in a different country with different rules and all this shit. Like, I'm sure you're kind of like a little nervous of what's going to happen. And for guys like, was it Kevin Fiala? Fiala ends up being out for the rest of the season. Like, that's a tough blow. It doesn't matter if that dude's playing third line minutes. Like, just to have your guy go to the Olympics and represent his country, and then all of a sudden, like, he's coming back on a long-term IR stint. Like, that's a tough look, and I'm sure is kind of a nail-biting scenario for any GM and president anywhere else. But I don't see how you get rid of it. And this is I'll piggyback on this, in a little bit when we talk about the future of the Blues. But like Gary Bettman has always talked about him trying to grow the game. And it may not be Bettman's full choice when it comes to like who gets to play or who when we're putting NHL players back in the Olympics, but he has 100% a decent say of why and when. If you're trying to grow the game, what better way to grow the game than worldwide? Having this, you're on stage for everyone to see. It doesn't matter if there's a kid in fucking China watching the Olympics. If he wants to play fucking hockey in the NHL, you bet your happy ass. You better tell him it's a pipe dream, my guy. Like you can achieve whatever you want to achieve. And I think that's the part that kind of leaves a sour taste in a lot of people's mouths is like, fuck the Olympics. No, not fuck the Olympics. Fuck the All-Star break. Like it doesn't make sense. It never has made sense after like the Gretzky era. Like nothing made sense. So bring in the Four Nations, bring in the Olympics, put NHL players back on the Olympic roster, because it's only doing one thing for you. It's growing the game, and that's going to make your pockets even deeper. So I hope that answered the question, but that passionately, that it makes the most sense to have NHL players back in there because you're playing with the world's best athletes.
I think they need to take a book out of the Springfield Thunderbirds, and I think NHL teams need to start doing what Springfield calls it school day games. I think they have like one or two games a year that is on like 12 o'clock on Tuesday. Like it's a school day. It's not a day that people are like off because it's some sort of holiday. And I think you market it one as, kids can come, have them take the day off school, whatever it is. I know I'm a teacher, so maybe I shouldn't be saying that, but I would take a day off. I think that would be cool. But also then you can use that to market that, because that noon time, that's 1 or 2 o'clock time, whether it's Central, Eastern, Mountain, whatever, but that's going to be like prime time in Europe. And so now not only are you given a kind of just cool school day type thing here in the United States or in Canada, but now you're given a prime time game to Europe that they can be like, oh, we're going to go to a bar, we're going to watch this, we're going to enjoy it because we don't have to wake up at the butt crack of dawn or whatever it is to try to watch the Blues or watch the Kings or watch the Penguins, whoever it is that people want to watch. So I think that would be a cool thing to do, to just switch it up here, but also give people in Europe a better chance to watch it. So
I agree.
I had another point too. Oh, the injuries. That's going to be the big one. If we get through this tournament, let's say with Crosby's injury, I know he wasn't able to play in the semis or in the final, but it doesn't sound like he's going to be out long term. But if he goes out and gets a season-ending injury, or McDavid or McKinnon or any of these massive superstars in the NHL, that's when the questions start coming of, is it worth it? Like, that we're not getting any in direct money from these Olympics, but we're going to be losing it now because Crosby's not going to be playing. Kevin Fiala is not the best player in LA, but he is a very good player, and they're a team that's trying to make the playoffs. So these Olympics are hurting the LA's Kings' chance of making the playoffs, which then in turn hurts their ability to make more money by selling more tickets in playoff games. So
I mean, I think I like your argument, because I think that's sorry, I'm getting a FaceTime here, folks. I think the argument is one of those that, like, if you're a guy that plays for your country, that's all that really needs explaining. Like, how many people get that opportunity to do that? Because it happens every 4 years. If you're a guy that's slumming up in the NHL, you're going to put, maybe 12 years downrange? 12 years in the NHL is a great career. So you have 3 opportunities to get to the Olympics. For some guys during that hiatus of 12 years, some of them didn't even get to go, which sucks. But if that is like, I mean, essentially everybody it's like in your DNA. Like if you're a Canadian born player, like Wayne Gretzky, right? That dude loves his country. Like, he is going to go down as the greatest Canadian athlete of all time. Change my mind, but he will. If that means that they're going to miss out on half the season because they endure a season-ending injury at the Olympics, I guarantee you 10 out of 10 times, they're going to be okay with that. The ownership group might not be, because you're like,
Yeah.
fuck, I'm putting all
The
my eggs in one
players
basket.
okay with
But
it.
players are okay. But who puts asses in the seats?
Right.
The players. So if you
Mm.
want to put asses in seats, let the players play. Let them do what they want to do.
Let them showcase.
So what?
Showcase
Yeah,
a little bit.
exactly. I guarantee you're going to make more money having those players play in some other country than you would having them finish out the rest of the year.
Right.
You may hurt your pocketbook and you may hurt that. But if they know, if a fan group knows, hey, like my guy went to the Olympics and he put it all out for his country, I think it's going to be a little easier to swallow than having like an injury where he fucking stubs his toe in fucking practice and he's out for 6 to 8 weeks.
Gets hurt in practice like Dylan Holloway. Speaking of, well, actually, let me tell you about cool places to spend money first, and then we'll kind of switch gears and go into the St. Louis Blues. So, told you guys about scooters earlier. We like ourselves some scooters. They hooked us up with some coffee for the watch party. I'm always a sucker for an iced mocha. That just chocolate and coffee is amazing. If you can, make sure you check out our scooters locations on Highway 143 and Troxler Way in Highland, or Vandalia Street and Indian Avenue in Collinsville. If you can't make those, you can check out the over 30 locations in the greater St. Louis area. And that is amazing people, amazing drinks, amazingly fast. Scooters Coffee. Make sure you guys check out Hughes Custom Design. They make laser cut, hand painted wood signs. Typically have options available available that can be purchased, or you can request any custom job that you would like. You can find them on Facebook. I know they always have a blue note ready to go. And then also check out Imprint Labs. They can get yourself some custom hats, custom wood signs if you're interested, or not wood sign, custom metal signs if you're interested in that. Realistically, if you have a logo or you want it on something, they have a machine that can do that, whether it's hats, shirts, metal signs, tumblers. Like I said, they're pretty creative over there. So check them out. You can find them on Facebook and Instagram. Okay. Matt's got a fun comment here. Just says, "Good evening, boys. Hope you're doing well and are ready for the Blues to continue the tank for Stenberg," which is what we're going to get into today. But we can start here with Sam's question. Dakota, did you happen to see the trade for Matt Luff today out of Springfield? So Matt Luff was Springfield's only AHL All-Star. Has played a couple games, was up here for a little bit with the St. Louis Blues. Did you see the return?
Yeah, I don't really know much about him. That's the problem. And I was trying to do some research early and often. I just, again, here's the thing that should be studied. What the goes on in Doug Armstrong's brain? And I didn't want to go a hard F there because I felt like it wasn't noteworthy. But what the hell is he thinking? Like, honestly, I feel like I'm a broken record. And I talk about this all the time. Is like Doug Armstrong does so well when he drafts people or when he gets a young talent into the AHL. And then he's like, fuck it. There's a hard R. There's a hard F. He just gets rid of them. Like, I don't understand. Like, we talked about, we literally had a podcast with Matt. Yes, Matt. No. Yes. Yeah. Last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
About
all the all the good guys coming up through the ranks, and we're talking about Matt Luff, and you're just like, then you just sit there after the Olympics is over, and you're just like, huh,
we're gonna get rid of this guy.
Really, we just don't know what the fuck we're doing. What?
Well, the Matt Luff trade just seems a very similar situation to the Nikita Alexandrov trade. They traded Nikita Alexandrov. They pretty much got Nikita Alexandrov back, just in the form of a different player. This kind of seems the same thing. We got rid of Matt Luff. We sent him somewhere else. We got another type of Matt Luff player in return. Both players are 27. Neither of them seem to be. I do think Matt Luff is having a better season this year than, I don't remember the guy's first name, but Guthrie was his last name. Than Guthrie returning. Yeah. So realistically, if Matt Luff makes your NHL roster, he's probably on the fourth line. So maybe we traded a high-performing AHL player for a low-performing one with potentially more upside, but you're also still talking about them being 27 already. Um, so yeah, I don't think, as far as NHL implications, I don't think this trade matters at all. It might have just been, hey, we're still trying to help out Springfield because Matt told us last week that despite Springfield not playing very well, they've played better recently. They still have a chance to make playoffs where the Blues pretty much don't. But yeah, these 1-for-1 AHL trades are just kind of confusing. I don't think they happen as often as they have this year.
I don't. Forgive me, folks. I'm about to go on a small tangent. I promise it'll only be a minute of your time. Because I'm just like, I'm just kind of pissed off. Because I just, like, coming out of the Olympic break, you just would have thought, unless Doug Armstrong was too busy losing, which he was, go USA, what the hell are you doing? Like, what are we doing? Just make some moves. Like, do what the fans you to do. Leave with your head held high. Go out with just your blades of glory. Do what you need to do for Steiner. Don't just sit there and fuck him, because that's what's going to piss us off even more. Get rid of the guys that you need to get rid of. Set him up for success with the young talent that we have. That's all we're asking. We're not asking for a cup today. We're not asking for a cup tomorrow. We're just asking for Steiner to be set up for success because that's your predecessor. That's it. And if he's going to sit here on his hands and make these dumbass trades between AHL talent to AHL talent, I don't really see much of anything happening for the next 2 weeks until the trade deadline. It's disappointing. I think it's disappointing for us fans to sit here and watch our team just shit the bed profusely, because I know we're decent, we're better than that, but it's just not happening this year, and you got to start cutting ties.
We are 10 days away from the NHL trade deadline, and we have talked all season long about how on paper this team is better than what they're playing. We got a better forward group. We got our defense is doing okay. I know goalies have struggled a little bit, but Hofer's come on. Binnington could see him come on after still losing the gold medal match, but still a strong Olympics for Jordan Binnington. The unfortunate thing is, if you for some reason do nothing, you can see this team doing well and finishing 13th or 15th or somewhere around there, absolutely not making the playoffs, but you can see them going on a run for absolutely no reason other than just getting yourself out of the Stenberg lottery, out of the potential Gavin McKenna lottery, and into, I hope we get to pick 10th this year. There are going to be teams, there already are teams that have traded off players, Calgary being some, Vancouver being one, that are getting worse. And if you are a bad team, that's what you need to do. If you're bad, go get worse. There's no point in staying bad or even attempting to get better right now, because the way you get better is by getting McKinnon or getting Stenberg or even getting Veerhoff. You have to have a top 3 pick in this draft based on how this front part of the season has gone. But yeah, finding and being in that middle ground would, like you said, absolutely fuck Alexander Steen when he takes over, because there's nothing you can do with a middle team.
Well, and that's the thing. We're not even asking for everybody to be gone. We're not even saying sell the team, sell the organization. We're asking for a couple people on the roster, a couple position players that are easily interchangeable, that we have. Geez Louise, we have people in the minors that can easily take that position for less money. Again, and St. Louis is going to have to eat that salary. We all know that. It's going to suck for at least 2 or 3 years. But what we're building on the back end is going to be a large sample size for what's to come. You got guys like Jimmy Snuggerud and Otto Stenberg. You got Ivar Stenberg waiting in the wing to just take a positional spot on the roster. Those are guys you can build a team around. And then I think that Steiner, being a young GM, is going to be able to seize the opportunity and capitalize on that. Like, we're not going to try and go get a Sidney Crosby, towards the end of his career. We want to start with young players, young talent, build them up, build the organization from the ground up so that way we have something to work with 5 years from now. Like St. Louis Blues fans aren't expecting a cup tomorrow. We're expecting it 5 years from now. That's it.
We do still have, we talked about this, it would have been 2 episodes ago, right before the Olympic freeze, is that when Holloway is healthy, he's 100% ready. Thomas is skating, but not full on practicing yet. And they do still have Oscar Sundqvist, who is skating, but does seem farther away than Thomas is. But if the Blues have a fully healthy roster, we are 2 skaters over the limit. 2 people have to go somewhere. And if that result ends up being, we're going to send Bergeron or Fabry or whoever it is and have to pass these guys through waivers, and that decision is not, well, let's trade Shen or let's trade Matthew Joseph or let's Sundqvist, you probably can't trade just because he's injured right now. But if that decision is not trade somebody and it says instead let's send him to the AHL, I don't get it. That decision makes no sense to me. At some point, you also need to call Otto Stenberg up. I think last week I talked about, I still expect Otto Stenberg to at least be in the AHL for the next 10 days. He's, I would imagine, going to be in the AHL past the NHL trade deadline. That way he is eligible to play in the AHL playoffs if Springfield makes it. So I would still expect that to happen. But someone's got to go. And by got to go, I mean they can't just go to Springfield. They need to go somewhere else, and something else has got to come back in return. So, you want to get into who? Sam had a question here. She says, do you think Shen, Biddington, Colton Parayko, or anyone who isn't performing in the Blues, are they safe or are they gone? So you want to tackle these 3 here quick?
I mean, I think Shen is the biggest one we've talked about the last 3 weeks, at least 4, because of his no trade clause. It's 15 teams. Bennington, it really weighed heavily on his Olympic performance. And I guess the same could be said about Colton Parayko. Colton Parayko, that's a guy that he still has a lot to give to the Blues. It just, I think he's had just a really, really bad year. Last year, he started off really, really well. This year, just, I don't know, we caught the cold bug. For Schenner, I'll touch on that real quick. I think Shen needs to go. I love that guy as a captain. I think he does play the blue-collar way, like Jacobs mentioned before. Unfortunately, I do think his time here with the Blues has ended. But if you're going to leave the Blues, at least end on a career up. Shen's been playing really well. He's kind of taken the team, and put it on his back. Skids, he's brought us out of, a losing streak. His defensive play on both, 200-foot piece of ice, that to me is what you need to build around going into a deep playoff run. Jordan Binnington, he's going to be expensive. And that's the thing that the Blues are going to have to worry about, is kind of eating that salary and trying to find a good home for him. I think he's going to be a great, starter somewhere else. I still think he has it. Clearly, he played his ass off in the Olympics. I think his time here in St. Louis should come to an end. You need to leave with your head held high. You brought your ass to St. Louis and won us a Stanley Cup, something that, Martin Brodeur, Curtis Joseph, Greg Millen, Yaroslav Halak, guys like that couldn't bring us. So, you got nothing to be ashamed of. But Colton Parayko, I still think is going to be with the St. Louis Blues. I think Schenner and Benner really need to find themselves out. And I'll touch on another guy too. I think Justin Falk needs to be up there too. But
yeah, Matt brings up young guys are safe, which I think is safe to say that they're safe. Snuggerud, Stenberg, Broberg, Holloway's, I'll say questionable. I don't think you can trade him because his stock is low because he's injured all the time. But he is not signed through next year. He is still a restricted free agent. So you're either going to sign him or you're going to get some sort of capital back as far as compensation if somebody signs him because you're restricted. But if that Holloway would be one, like if you're not getting anywhere on a contract extension and you want to trade him, then that might be an option. I would much rather have Holloway sign, maybe even sign for cheap because he's been injury prone, and then see what we have. Neighbors and Dvorsky. So I agree with Matt here on those are kind of your untouchables. That's the future right there.
Yeah, I like to think that Holloway would be kind of used as like a bridge to a trade, being like, I'll toss in Holloway just because he has kind of like shown a small sample size when he is healthy. But if you're trying to, bridge the gap between, okay, like I'm here, I want this trade, but like you got to meet me somewhere else. I think you got to throw in Holloway. Like I believe we have a lot of guys in the AHL that can easily fill his position or even kind of move up. Like I really enjoyed Bergeron's been really, really good. He may not be a Holloway type player, but unfortunately with Holloway, I mean, we're a we're a game of statistics, and you really haven't been showing us a lot because you haven't been playing the ice. I would be willing to throw him in there, depending on what you get. If it's a future considerations, fuck that. We're not doing that. We're not playing that fucking game.
Yeah.
Wow, a lot of cussing there. Woo, got a little animated there, folks. But I'd be willing to see maybe a Holloway Thomas. That seems that's. I know I'm a Thomas guy through and through, but imagine throwing those two guys in there. You're gonna get at least a good something out of it.
If you're doing a Holloway Thomas deal, you're getting at least 3 first-round pick worth of value. Like you need, whether you're getting picks or you're getting former guys that were picked high, you need to get at minimum. 3 might not even be enough. I might need 3 just for Thomas.
I would want at least a top 9. Yeah, I would want at least a top 6, top 9 forward, and at least a pick or 2.
Yeah,
but a lot of teams come by at this time just to try to see if they can push it to such a deep playoff run.
right.
Guys like I can see Dallas maybe doing something like this. I can see maybe like an Edmonton who's like kind of on the outside looking in, who needs to go back to the Stanley Cup Finals because they've just kind of thrown in the towel the last couple of years. So I can see that happening.
All right. Falk is, I think, the kind of the main one that we haven't touched on as much here, but I think Falk is one that I agree with you is someone that probably needs to go. The only harder part about trading Falk than you would with Braden Shen is all of our depth, at least all of our young depth, is in forwards. We don't have young defensemen that can step in and play for Justin Falk. Like if Justin Falk's gone, you got to assume Logan Mayu's moving up, and then you're starting Matt Kessel, who had a good run a couple years ago, but has been relegated to just healthy scratch over the last 2 years, or AHL player. So unless you're trading Justin Falk and you're getting some sort of maybe you get a young prospect, but you also get a 29-year-old third line defenseman that you can use to kind of just play for the rest of the year, whatever that may be. So maybe that's the way they go. But yeah, my biggest trades, if you're looking for a return, it's you got to get rid of Falk, you got to get rid of Shen. I also think you just get rid of Joseph just because he's on an expiring contract.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I agree with Matt here. Falk's trade value has never been higher. Roger points out here that we need centermen. We can't be trading our top centerman and be left with Suter as our number 1. I
disagree.
Unfortunately, we'd have. If Dvorsky can become that number 1 center, you have him in the future. But if to be a number 1, he might still be 2 years away from that. Like I would be much more comfortable playing him at the number 2 spot. Unfortunately, it would be really nice if McKinnon or Ivar Stenberg were centers, but they play primarily on the wing. So it'd be nice if we got ourselves a McKinnon or a McDavid or a Crosby in this upcoming draft. But we're gonna get a I don't know, Ovechkin, hopefully, a winger. That'd be nice. All right. Dakota, just looking at this near future with 10 days left and everybody still on the roster and healthy. what do you think our lines are going to look like? Like, let's say Robert Thomas is ready to go on Thursday. We can even, if we want to, we can say Oscar Sundqvist is ready to go on Thursday, but I don't think he will be. And I also don't even know if he'd be in my starting lineup. What do you think our lines are going to look like come Thursday?
That's a really good question. I mean, honestly, like you kind of put me on the spot because I've kind of thought to myself by Wednesday, like, yes, I'm saying by tomorrow. So when you hear this, we're talking about today that you're listening to this podcast, hopefully, that some of these guys are just not going to be on the roster. So like I'm thoroughly looking forward to hopefully the Blues making some nice moves here soon because I feel like you got to shit or get off the pot. As far as lines, I think the combinations stay the same. I mean, I hope we're talking about bringing Stenberg up, but if he's not, and you just got to sit on him for a little bit, like I would put Bergeron in the top 6. Like I would start really fucking shaking some things up. It doesn't look like the first half of the year was amounting to anything. I don't see why you don't just go crazy and see who has the best chemistry. Like at this point, like yes, may chemistry take you to the playoffs? Probably not. A little too late to start that wagon, but start mixing things up. Have fucking Kyrou play the 4th line. I could give a rat's ass where he plays. he could be getting fucking drink refills for the fucking goalie tender. I don't care. Just like
End
start
guard and tackle.
Yeah, just start putting people in places that they weren't in before. Put fucking Tyler Tucker on a 3rd line center. I could give a rat's ass. We got to start
to work on
some things up. Jordan Kyrou, 3rd line defenseman. Exactly. Work on your faceoff. Put guys. I don't care. Put Tyler Tucker in net. We got to start shaking something up. You got to have some fun. You got to put asses in the seats for the last 30 games. You got to put asses in seats.
All right.
I know that didn't answer your question, but
no, you're the crazy one. So I'm gonna try to be not as crazy. All right, how does this sound? It's not shaking. It's not assing. It's not doing any of that. My pen's not working though, which is annoying. The rest of it is hard. Suter. Neighbors.
We haven't even talked about Finley. Where's Finley going to play? 4th line center?
Maybe.
Put him in 3rd line. Fuck him. Have Sonny center the 4th line. If he's
my 3rd line here is dependent on, do I have Stenberg? Should I put Stenberg in this lineup?
No, because he's not going to be there to start. He's going to be back in the AHL. I don't think they're going to make that roster move until somebody leaves. You're not going to see Stenberg until a guy leaves that roster. That's sad, but that's how it's going to be.
So then I'll go Joseph and then Finley. Shit, this is hard.
Yeah.
All right, so I got the top line as Buchnevich, Tomic, Kyrou. The second line as Schenn, Devo, Snuggerud. And then the 3rd line as Neighbors, Suter, Joseph.
See, and I really think I think you got to go. I think you got to go Kyrou, Devo, Snuggie, and have one of them play on their off wing because that alone could be an electric line. That is.
Haven't they been playing before break? Wasn't Schenn?
Yes.
They had Devo centering, and then wasn't Schenn on that line?
Yeah, because he told Devo to play the position you're most comfortable with.
That's what I thought. So I think I'm going to put Toropchenko on the 3rd line.
I love Torpo.
So it'll be Neighbors, Suter, Torpo, and then you can go Finley, Fabry, Bergeron as your 4th line, which means your scratches are Sonny, Joseph, and Walker.
That's tough. I like Joseph and Walker. I just feel like they're just a bunch of energy. Sundqvist, you could for basically a bag of pencils.
Yeah, I do like Joseph and Walker, but I mean, if you sub them in, you take out Fabry, you take out Bergeron. Oh shit.
See,
Yeah.
and
And
the
Roger just brought up because this is so hard. We got too many freaking players. We forgot about this Dylan Holloway guy. He's good.
See, and
And
that's
he's
the
gonna
thing.
be ready.
I think Fabry goes. Like that just made that to me that makes the most sense. I think Fabry goes and Matthew Joseph go.
So
That's who goes at the deadline, and that's going to be the thing that is rough because you're going to get a fucking second line pick or second. What the fuck am I saying? A second round pick, and possibly maybe a third or fourth, and that's just not going to be enough. Like that just feels like you're basically fucking selling pennies.
right. So you throw Holloway on the third line with Neighbors and Suter, and you put Torpo on the fourth and move Fabry to scratch at this point. These scratches, the Sundqvist, Joseph, Walker, Fabry are the scratch / what happens. As soon as there's a trade for Braden Shen, Holloway moves up into that second line spot.
Yes.
And you kind of move there. So then your second line turns into Holloway, Devo, Snuggerud. Unfortunately, depending on what happens here, you might need to have Buchnevich playing center some more, which I am not a fan of. But the Blues were a fan of it in the past, and I know with all of our center injuries, they did have Buch playing center a little bit. And he's been playing well.
Of the players that are eligible or could be eligible to be sent down, are all of them waiver eligible?
The only people that could be sent down, without waivers.
Like Bergeron and Fabry come to mind for me as like, okay, fuck, if we lose those guys, they're gone. Like if they go down, they're not coming. They're going to somebody else.
They could be. Well, keep in mind, we picked up Bergeron from waivers. So if we send him down, he's got to clear again. And I think it was Detroit can either take him or somebody else can pick him. Finley would be the same way. We picked him up on waivers. So if we send him down, he can go back to Tampa Bay or anybody else could pick him up. Fabry was signed as a free agent, but that's because no one really wanted him. So it's possible that you send him down to DHL, but at Fabry's age, it might be if I'm not playing, I'm not going. Like if I'm not in the NHL, I'm just going to go home kind of thing.
Because I believe he was playing AHL minutes before he signed with the Blues. Like last stint he had was in the AHL. I believe.
I think so. Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
I
can see that.
So yeah, I don't see anybody coming over and trading for Fabry. I don't see anyone trading for Walker.
No.
I do think Joseph, just seeing Joseph play, I think with his energy and his penalty killing, I think is something that a team might want in their bottom six. You don't get much for him, but you get something. Maybe it is a future considerations, and that future consideration ends up being a 5th round pick eventually, because it's not going to be a whole lot. But yeah, I don't know. That's how your forwards look. Your defense doesn't change pending trades. You're still rocking, whether it's Broberg and Parayko, Fowler and what have we been doing? Fowler and Mayu, and then Falk and Tucker. You still rocking that? I would say come Thursday's game, expect Joel Hofer to be in net. I know they did that last time after Binnington's 4 Nations. They gave him the next game off as a welcome back, take your bows, kind of relax a little bit because you didn't get a break. So don't be surprised if you're like, oh, Blue season started again and Binnington played. He didn't play outstanding, but he played well. Don't be surprised if you see Hofer in net on Thursday. So yeah, that's a hard predicament. People got to go. And as this we talked about, doesn't even account for Stenberg. At this point, if nobody is traded, Stenberg's playing your 4th line. And that's just not, you're not going to do that. He's either going to play top line in the AHL or at minimum in the top 9 in the NHL.
And the thing that you really got to think about too is I think most Blues fans have to put their head here. You got to think about next year now. Like, fuck this year. You got to think about what's going to be beneficial for next year. Stenberg playing fucking top line AHL minutes isn't going to do shit for you. You want him playing with the best of the best and learning the chemistry between the guys that he's going to be playing with next year for the full year. So putting him in the AHL, so guys got to go. Like, it's just a matter of you can't be greedy and try to hold on to everybody. You got to start sending people where they need to go so we can start building upon what we have going on for next year. And then that just has to be it. That's the mindset we have to live by. And I hope Doug Armstrong does what he needs to do and doesn't sit on his hands. But if I'm Stenberg, I'm chomping at the bits to get back to the NHL club.
Let's do something crazy.
I love that.
Let's say it is just way too difficult for you to find a appropriate package for Shen, appropriate package for Kyrou. No one wants to pay the high bill on Thomas. You've talked about Booch. You've talked about Suter. Like you're trying to trade all these forwards, and you don't think that you can get enough back to where it's worth it. And then you're at that situation of, now I have a guy like Stenberg who's going to play in the AHL, or I have a guy like Neighbors or even Holloway who are going to be playing third line minutes when they probably should be playing better. Is there a situation, a scenario where instead of trading away one of these older guys or one of these guys we don't like, where we package two of these younger guys and get maybe another top defenseman? Top defensemen are typically hard to come by. You typically can't find them in trades. You have to find them in the draft. But if you can't do anything with these older forwards that you want to get rid of, do you do a Stenberg and a Holloway for somebody like, I don't even know what defenseman would be on the market. You're obviously not going to find a Cale Makar, a Quinn Hughes, but somebody just like a younger version of Philip Broberg or somebody around a Philip Broberg type.
Yeah, if you can give me fucking Matthew Schaefer on a platter, sure.
Yeah.
I just no. I want to say yes so bad because like I think at that point you just got to start fucking taking your medicine and getting taking what you can get for that scenario. For shits and gigs, we'll be crazy too. Like, yeah, like I'll accept that. Let's get a defenseman and let's just stock up. Owen Power, nice.
That's just a team that has a lot of defensemen. Owen Power's a former #1 overall pick. He's not playing to that level, but he's still good. I think the only negative to that is Buffalo's pretty loaded with young forwards as well. So I'm not sure if they'd be interested in a Stenberg.
I mean, it's hard to say yes to that. It's hard to say yes, but it's also hard to say no. Because either way you look at it, you're hurting. You're hurting because you got too many guys on the forward depth, and then to look at it being like you're missing out on a guy that's playing top line D minutes. You're like, how could you say no to that too? So it's
right.
And that's why I'm not the GM, and that's why Dougie is, and we'll see if he really shits the bed towards the end of his career as a GM for the St. Louis Blues. But Doug, if you're listening to this Blues Fan Forum podcast, and I hope you are, because we are fucking great armchair GMs, you just do what we need you to do and just fucking let him go.
We are so good at telling Doug Armstrong how to do his job, even though we have absolutely zero experience, besides the fact that we play NHL franchise mode occasionally.
I won a couple cups on fucking NHL franchise mode, my guy. I can do it. We all can do it.
It's not hard. It's so easy. You just find the guys with high potential, and then you go trade for them, and then they always hit that high potential. It works like that in real life too.
Life's a video game anyway, right?
There is no busts in real life. They're all hit. All right. Thursday, Blues hockey returns. I think some hockey returns tomorrow. Isn't there games? NHL games tomorrow? That's crazy. If there's people coming from Canada or the United States teams to play tomorrow, because the United States is that. Oh shit! I have to read my State of the Union address. I forgot about that. That's how we'll end. Tonight is the State of the Union, and I could care less how you care about politics because I think politics is stupid. But I thought this was fun with the State of the Union address being tonight. I've created, with the help of AI, because who doesn't use AI these days? I've created a State of the St. Louis Blues. So, the State of the St. Louis Blues. Here we go. Where'd it go? I gotta scroll up. Are you ready for this? I'll try to read it quick because it's kind of long. All right. Tonight, we gather not in a chamber of government, but in the great house of hockey, united by a crest, a history, and a standard that reads simply a blue note. This is the State of the St. Louis Blues. What a start. Tonight, we come together under one banner, one crest, one enduring standard. This is the State of the St. Louis Blues. Fellow fans and faithful supporters, the State of the St. Louis Blues is determined. This season has tested us in the relentless grind of the NHL, particularly within the demanding Central Division. There are no guarantees. Execution has wavered. Consistency has been elusive. The foundation has been challenged. But challenge does not define us. Response does. In net, for now, stands Jordan Binnington, a champion who understands resilience at the heart of our lineup. Robert Thomas continues to drive the future forward. Leadership remains steady, for now, through Braden Shen, reinforcing the culture that sustains this franchise. And rising behind them is the next wave. Players like Dalibor Dvorsky, Otto Stenberg, Jimmy Snuggerud, representing patience and long-term vision. The standing may not reflect our ambition, but ambition remains. The standings. See, I'm not a good public speaker. There are decisions ahead. There is work to be done. Every remaining game is an opportunity, not only, I disagree with this one, not only for us to lose points, is what it should say, but for proof of structure, proof of growth, proof that the standard in St. Louis has not shifted. Because this franchise is not measured solely on banners of the past, but by the resolve of the present. The State of the St. Louis Blues is not surrender. It is recalibration. It is accountability. It is belief. The note still rings. The expectation still stands. And the next shift begins now.
Hell yeah.
I'm so hyped. Thank you. I'll be on the ballot for president of the United States in, I don't even know, whenever. Oh, I can't. Isn't it 30? You got to be. Is it 35 to run for president?
I think it's 35.
I think it's 35.
Don't quote me on that. I'm not really good at history. All right.
Would you imagine with the way the world is? There is a chance that I could turn St. Louis Blues podcast into president of the United States.
That's impressive.
That'd be crazy. All right. Dakota, anything else for us tonight?
Oh, here. All my fellow.
Kelsey says 45. She's going 45.
45. 45 to be president. No.
I don't know.
No. JFK was a lot younger than that.
Yeah. I think it's 35.
I think it was 2.
Maybe she might have fact checked it for us. It's 35. 2 more years. Just right.
What I do have to say to my fellow Blues fans, don't lose hope. The Blues are maybe done for this year, but we have so much to look forward to. Dalibor Dvorsky, Otto Stenberg, Jimmy Snuggerud is the team that we're going to be seeing for years to come. We have so much to look forward to. This season may suck for the last 30 games of the year. Just keep your head held high. We have so much to look forward to. Keep tuning into the Blues Fan Forum for your up-to-date opinions on what's happening with our roster. And we'll try to bring you some really good content. But that's what I have. That's what I have for you.
Yeah. And if the Blues are not winning, at least it's not baseball. That's
true. It could be the Cardinals.
The Cardinals are going to be worse.
Better to root for the Blues, who is kind of looks good while sucking, but the Cardinals just suck just to suck.
What the Cardinals are doing is what we're asking Doug Armstrong to do. Like they took their old expiring contracts that still had value and got rid of them. So that's what we're looking for. Let's get younger. Let's learn and grow over the next couple of years, and let's be a Stanley Cup contending team for 5 years after that.
Hell yeah. I need
All right.
banner.
Get yourself some Scooters coffee in tomorrow, because tomorrow is Wednesday. It is my Friday because I'm taking off Thursday and Friday. I'm going to the dark purple land of Colorado. So I'll be messing around in Denver. We actually looked at going to a Denver, Colorado game, and tickets are like $200 for crappy seats. And I told them, I was like, well, yeah, that's because they're good. People want to go to those games. So Scooters Coffee, Hughes Custom Design, check them out. Check out what's the other one? Imprint Labs. Make sure you give us a follow on Facebook, subscribe to YouTube, do all that stuff. Give Interstate 70 Sports Media a follow as well. Blue season will be over soon, and if you follow baseball, they do a good job of keeping you up to date on all things baseball. Did you see the greatest just random statistic of all time? Some very minuscule minor league baseball team signed a guy named Harry Potter. Yeah,
No,
see, that's the type of news you get from Interstate 70 Sports Media. I saw that on Facebook. And I laughed just like you. I was like, Harry Potter? No way. So do that, and then come hang out with us on March 12th at Friday South in Collinsville, Illinois, for Blues versus Carolina Hurricanes. It is an away game, so no one has the excuse of I'm going to the game unless you're flying to Carolina. So come hang out with us in Collinsville. We'll see you there. All right. You want to do the Let's Go Blues?
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's go Blues.
All right. See you, everybody.